Well, let's move
All
on.
right.
Let's talk about Massachusetts and
Yeah.
some of the things there where they're looking at becoming another state that is looking at driver protections when it comes to minimum wage benefits and
Yeah.
how to fight unjust deactivations.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty good. So,
Yeah.
Sergio,
Well,
take it away.
yeah, I mean, so this is in a long string of various states properly doing what they're doing. By the way, next week we're going to have a driver from Seattle whose rates are the highest by far in the country. And now they introduced some more benefits that employees would get. They're independent contractors, so don't panic. He's going to tell us because they've had this. They had Uber and Lyft on the table, and they came up to certain agreements. And I want to update. Like after it's been in play for about a year and 3 months, I want them to give us a little bit of an update. And there's new rights actually drivers are getting in Seattle, in the state of Washington. I want to talk about that as well. So this is happening in Colorado, in Illinois, in now Massachusetts. Obviously, New York and California have their own versions that the companies, well, in California anyway, companies passed Prop 22. So the couple of unions, these are major unions. These are not, SEIU and IDG. They Independent Drivers Guild. They are going to bat against these companies and passing similar stuff that other states are trying to pass, which includes minimum wage, minimum fare, besides the active time, obviously. The major difference, Chris, between this and what's happening in Colorado, Illinois, and a couple of different states is that under this bill, the drivers will have the right for collective bargaining and unionization. They can unionize. Now, I know the chat's going to go nuts now because, oh, we don't want unions. We don't want this independent contractor forever. I get it. But it seems like to me, unless a union is backing up this cause, these companies are not coming to the table. Okay?
Yep.
So let's call it what it is. Okay? I mean, you may like unions, hate unions. We're not here for political discussion. What we're here for is informing you that this is coming. And because it's backed up by two unions that has the attention of these two companies, Uber and Lyft. And I think this is a good thing. And this is just like a package in all the other states: minimum wage, paid time off, sick leave. The one extra in this is that they're going to force these companies. Are you guys ready? To contribute into unemployment insurance because we're independent contractors. We know what all happened during the pandemic. We had to get federal help because these companies have never, ever, ever put a red cent into the unemployment insurance fund in their states that they operate in. Well, this has that in there as well. Obviously, it has the deactivation protections. I mean, this is a loaded bill. If this passes as is and drivers can unionize, Uber and Lyft are out of luck in Massachusetts. I'm telling you, because then...
Especially with the bill that they tried or I'm sorry, the what was it, the addendum they tried getting passed through on Massachusetts.
They got caught with their pants down. So, but now this. I don't know. I think this is the opening, shot across their bow. I am sure they're going to come to the table and come up with some sort of solution. I hope these two unions who are backing driver rights stand where they are as opposed to giving too much. Okay. Now, the biggest difference between these and the other ones in different states is that unionization. Okay. That's a collective bargaining. That's massive. That's huge. Right. This is scaring the crap out of these companies. Okay. So without going into too much detail, Uber and Lyft, I'm sure, are going to come back with like some sort of a Prop 22, which is 120% of minimum wage on active hours and 30 cents a mile, which it says in the last paragraph. The bill would also require companies to cover some driving expenses. Well, in California, what they have is 120% of minimum wage on active hour, not online hour, and 30 cents a mile. I am sure they're going to sit there and negotiate this. But I've read all these proposals in all these states. This seems to be I don't know. This seems to be like making all drivers, independent contractors, part of a union. And
Yeah.
if that
Well, it
happens,
says
yeah,
let's just go over the potential benefits where they're talking about, so we're not like repeating. So it says the bill doesn't require drivers to complete any minimum number of hours qualify for a wage floor. Well, like in California, that does.
yep,
So that's they're like assessing all of these other bills that are going on. So it's not just them coming to the table and saying, "Oh, look, let's do this." They're actually going through what looks like to be other states that have enacted different types of legislations and
yeah,
trying to figure out the best course going forward. So that's pretty cool to see.
yeah,
They're also looking at workers' comp and discrimination protection. Some hour limits might come into play for benefits such as healthcare. Once
yeah.
those have been settled via the collective bargaining system, the bill would actually create. So it's nothing is like finalized. They're not saying a lot of things. It's more of like giving the ability to have this collective bargaining system, plus these other systems that'll be in place, and then they're going to have to hammer out the details. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, it has the backing of the governor. Okay, so this is a
Mhm.
very, very well written bill. Now we know what happens every time there is a bill proposed. They put everything in there, and then it kind of gets watered down by the time it gets finalized. But this is exactly what the drivers want. Now, some of you may not want to belong to a union or not. That's a different philosophical conversation. But this is the first shot across their bow, and let's see what Uber and Lyft come back with. But I'm telling you, Chris, every state that does this, it starts this way, right? This is the only way to bring these companies to the table. When AB5 passed in
Yep.
California, they came to the table. In Washington State, they passed it, and they came to the table and agreed. It does not seem like if the legislatures are not involved, these companies are not coming to the table on their own. You can
Nope.
bitch and moan on your comment section on our YouTube videos. They're not listening. All they're doing is
Well,
until
they may be listening, but they're not going to do anything about it. They're like, meh.
well, yeah.
They'll just say our hands are tied.
Yeah. So to me, it's like this. If this is what's going to be, this is what's going to be. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
at
this is
least
the
some
same
local.
conversation though that I had 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
and that is the same thing. Like when they were talking about AB5, when they were talking about Prop 22, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, we want to make sure it's beneficial for drivers. We want to be able to do this. It's like you want to be able to do Prop 22 because you wrote it and it's in your favor. It's written for you, and that's not necessarily written for anybody else but you. Let's be real. And then the whole thing is like, oh, if you wanted to actually do something, you would have enacted it already, and you would have taken the initiative. Not say, oh, our hands are tied. We have to wait until it's regulated to do it. You went into markets unregulated and pretty much illegally and still operated. So let's not get convoluted there. Let's
I want to pick this up real quick. Can you put Norma's comment up there for a second? With all due respect, Sergio, they came to the table in LA. They did not. It's California, not just LA. Here's what happened. They did not come to the table. What they did was AB5 was passed, which made all of us employees for 9 months. They ignored it for 9 months. And then during the major elections, national elections, they spent $220 million to pass Prop 22, which nullified all the effects of AB5. Okay. They did not come to the table. They ignored the law for 9 months, literally. Although during that period, they gave us all the things that we wanted. They gave us upfront destination. They gave us our right to price trips, which
Mhm.
immediately went away as soon as Prop 22 passed. We had the multiplier. We had all the things the drivers wanted to be true independent contractors. Immediately when they passed Prop 22, all of that went away. So they did not come to the table. The only place they came to the table, and I think the drivers won, and you guys will listen to this, hear from the Seattle driver, in the state of Washington, they truly came to the table, and now everybody seems to be happy, but we'll find out from that driver next week.
Yeah,
So,
that's going to be an interesting conversation
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still under the impression that Seattle and the Washington model is probably the best. So we'll see for sure
I think
tomorrow,
so.
especially with I'm sorry, next week, especially with everything that he's been able to experience now. So it'll be
I think so.
interesting. All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.